Okay, so I am making a video about ring gaps, and I'm getting ready to install these in my block, but before I do, I'd rather touch base on certain things. Basically, as you can see, we have piston, we got rings, and let me see where the gap's at. When you go to file these, there is, oh, here we go. Okay, so when you install your rings, if my camera would focus, there's numbers stamped at the top, and usually those numbers are means that the piston ring actually has to face up. Here we go. Gonna focus. Well, the lighting in my camera apparently is not working for me, but as you can see, there's a number. There we go. Yay! All right, N200. So that's the second compression ring, and it's usually the same number on both. It don't matter, but either way, this one says N200, and let me move my ring around. Yep. Okay, well, either way, what I'm trying to explain is that the ends, the ones with the numbers on the side, they have to be facing up. So don't make the mistake of installing your rings upside down. What else? Another thing, never have your gaps align with each other. So when you go to install this, just make sure your gaps are away from the oil control rings, the second compression ring. None of them can line up, otherwise you will get blow by. What else can I explain? These right here are 86 mil pistons, and to do the math to figure out your ring gap, you'll in the stock okay, so you're gonna do an OEM build. Your ring gap is the bore times 4 thousandths. Usually that's it. So you'll take, like I said, 86 mil piston, and it's what do you call it? So on an 86 mil piston, you want to convert it to inches, which Wiseco's awesome enough to just have it. So 3.386 inch. This right here is a compression sleeve, and this is what I'll be using to install the pistons. It's wide at the top, and then it cones down, so all you gotta do is just press it right through. So if you guys are doing up one of your blocks and you know that you want it to be perfect, get one of these, because I used to use the ones that you tighten, but this makes it so much easier doing everything yourself. Don't have to worry about the spring compressor loosening. So yeah, get one of these. So your top ring would be 3.386 times by 4 thousandths, which would give you a gap around 15 thousandths. I think that's pretty accurate. You can use a calculator and yell at me if I'm wrong. But basically, if you're doing an OEM build, the book will even tell you bore times 4 thousandths will give you it. Second compression ring is 1 thousandth bigger. So you'd take your bore and you times it by 5 thousandths, and that will give you your second compression ring. One thing to note is that I use a manual ring grinder to file my rings, and I got it for I think 50 bucks from Jags, if I remember right. And this is it right here. I have it all apart because I was doing some things, but basically you'll have your filer right there. These two notches are just to make sure that you can hold the ring, and it does not matter which way you file. So keep that in mind. It doesn't matter what side of the ring you file. You can file the left side or the right. Yeah. So, say you're gonna do a performance build, like, yeah, sorry. All right. So what you'll do is no way. I actually have everything right here. So it actually tells me in my paperwork that if you were to do stock build without anything, it would be 4 thousandths. And then second ring, I was pretty close. They say do 0.084 48 thousandths. That's all right. All right, so back again. If you're gonna run nitrous, what you'll do is you'll gap for the top compression ring at 55 thousandths time the bore. In your second ring, 57 thousandths. Now, that is for basically a standard compression motor. If you have a high compression motor, then you want to run bigger. So, say you're going to do a stock with high compression, then you could run off probably the 55 thousandths using the stock nitrous numbers, because you got to take high compression into effect. If you're going to do a street build with a turbo, not race, you can use the same math. You can still do the top bore times 55 thousandths and your second one 57. Honestly, I decided to go, because I know I'm going to be pushing hard, I decided to go with 6 thousandths on my second, and I went with 57 thousandths on my first. And that's a low compression. So if you guys need to know like how to do the math, like I said, it's pretty explanatory. It's just take your millimeters, okay, like, because I know Hondas are known for millimeters. So you'll take your millimeters, convert it to inches, which Wiseco did for me. You can just use Google. Take that number and then times it by what you want to run. If you want to run, Wiseco has all the information about nitrous, how to gap for straight up race grade motors, all that stuff. And that's all you'll do. You'll just take that times the bore. It gives you your number. Then you'll take your feeler gauge and you just start gapping your rings by inserting them in the bore. And then take your feeler gauge, see where you're at, take it back out, and then take your time, because it does not take much to file these rings.